One of the fallacies that growing up in America has created many people to believe that all men are created equal, and in reality is that's not true. That everyone's equal under the law in America. However, that's not in Judaism. There's different people, and like in the past, I was once talking to a potential convert, and he was telling me how difficult it is, and there's so much to learn and so much to do. And I asked him, what about the Noah? Why don't you starting with the Sheva Mitzvahs B'nai Noach? They're so expansive. There's so much to learn. Why don't you start with that, and then you can always continue later on after you. I don't want to say master those, but because you never really master, but after you feel comfortable and you feel more connected to God and things like that, and you feel your body wants more and yearns for more and more, then you can always do more and more. But basically, I want to just, as far as just, I know this might be an interesting class, but just to identify different types of individuals. First is the idolaters, people that don't believe in God, people that actively worship other things as if those things have powers. Then you have in Judaism, you have Jews, people that are born from to a Jewish mother. You have a Ger Tzedek, which is somebody who was born not Jewish to a non-Jewish mother, and then they decide to convert. Then everyone else is a Ben Noach, is a child of Noach. In the Ben Noachs, the people could either do things for one or two reasons. Let's say they do it because they say, "Oh, that makes sense. It's very smart. I'm not going to kill somebody, or I'm not going to steal, or I'm going to honor my parents and things like that." They're considered a Ben Noach who's mechachmes umos olam, that are the wise one of the nations, that they recognize there's one God, they recognize there's one thing to do, but they just do it because it's a nice thing to do, as opposed to the mechaside umos olam, from the chasidei, the pious ones of the world. They do it because they realize, listen, there is a God in the world, and yes, it is good, but I'm really doing it because God commanded me to do it. So that's one of the reasons why. That's one of the difference between the Chachme, the wise one of the nations, Me Chachme Umas Olam, and Me Chaside Umas Olam, and the pious ones of the nation. The pious ones do it because God did it. And then you have what's called a Ger Toshav, is when non-Jewish people live in the land of Israel, and the border is defined as the land of Israel. They need to really keep the Shem Mitzvahs B'nai Noach, and they become a Ger Toshav. And at Ben Noach, the way that they really, besides acting in a certain manner and believing in a certain manner, they also should verbalize that they believe in one God, and that they're considered the sons of Noach, and they're not going to do any of they're not going to murder and idolatry and immorality and blasphemy and all the different things. Just like Adam was commanded and Noah was commanded and they're commanded, and just because Hashem is the God, and he transmitted it to Moshe at Sinai through the Torah. And through this verbal, usually whenever you verbalize it, you hear it. It's good for you. It's good. That's why when you pray, you should also verbalize it. You shouldn't just silently pray. It's good to silently pray, but it's also good to verbalize it. So this, I just wanted to give you a little background as far as the different parts, and then we'll go further. There's a lot of different breakdowns. There's Kohanim, the Levium, Yisrael, there's Chalal, there's all different types of, not types, they're all different classifications, I guess would be a better word, of individuals, and we'll get through that as we do more and more classes.